because I'm testing the audio out to make sure everything is working as expected. As you guys know, I don't like to show up and not be ready for things. Not hearing that feedback yet. That's why we're testing this. But you guys still have 7 minutes to get your beverage of choice, get your pen and paper, get locked and loaded, get ready to go. Sent fired up, guys. We have some super interesting stuff to talk about today. Let me tell you, this is going to be fun. Fun. You don't want to miss a minute of this, guys. Get ready to pay full attention. We're starting here in about 7 minutes. If you see me goofing around on my computer before the call goes, that's just me setting things up. We will start in 7 minutes. Apology 6.0. You guys have no idea what's coming. This is going to be crazy. But right now, I'm going to log into a demo account. I'm going to log in to the Spock account that we have because I want to show you guys something inside here that is quite relevant to our conversations today. All right, guys, we are 5 minutes out. Get ready. This is going to be very special today. I promise you. Hey, folks, this is Mark Joyner. We are 4 minutes out. We're going to get started here in 4 minutes. Get ready. Take your bio break if you need to. Get your coffee, get your beverage of choice, get whatever you need. Well, it might be a little late in the evening for a lot of you guys in the United States to be drinking coffee. I don't recommend that. But if you are on the other side of the globe, as I am, feel free to do so. Whatever you like. Just be ready. We are 3 minutes out, folks. Okay, folks, we are 1 minute out. Get ready. You do not want to miss a second today. This is going to be special. Five, four, three, two, one. Boom! It is now 9 a.m. in Thailand, 9 p.m. on the East Coast in the United States. We just had daylight savings time, so I get to do these calls a little bit differently. We don't have daylight savings time in Thailand where I happen to be in the moment. But whatever time it is, wherever you are, it is time to get started. And this is going to be very special this time, guys, because we are mixing things up a little bit. And I'm speaking to two audiences now. I am speaking to the folks who are on this live, and I am also speaking to every new Integration Marketing Society member from today until the foreseeable future, because we are now going to do these weekly calls a little bit differently. Over the next 2 months, we are going to record the classic Integration Marketing Society weekly calls that we did in the first month, put those in the can for everybody to look back to as a resource. And then next month, I am going to deconstruct some integration marketing that we are doing right now, live in real time, for all of you guys to see the ins and outs of what we did. We are right now at Simpleology using 3 of the 4 right now. If you guys log in and you see this little link here, this little notification in the corner that says New Year 2020 Battle Plan, just click on that and you guys can see this campaign. I am not going to tell you the whole thing yet. Okay, I'm just going to show this to you. This is a product that we are launching right now called the Not So Little Calendar That Grows Your Business. And as a side note, for those of you guys who are watching this live, I strongly recommend you get this. Guys, this image here is no exaggeration of the size and meat of this resource. This is an 8.5 by 11 binder that you are going to get that is going to basically make your 2020 business success absolutely foolproof. If you blow your business in 2020 following this plan, I don't think it's possible. I don't think it's possible. And that's all I'm going to show you about this today, guys. This is just a hint. Because what we're going to do here, we're going to do the first 4 calls that we normally do, going over all 4 of the cash cow opportunities. We're going to do cash cow opportunity number 1 this week, number 2 next week, and then number 3, and then number 4. And then next month, I am going to break down this campaign for you and show you guys more of the nuance of ways that you can actually use integration marketing, all of the cash cow opportunities in your business. Okay. And then we're going to have all 8 of those videos there as a permanent resource for all Integration Marketing Society members to use as their official kickstart. And then here's what's going to happen on the weekly calls from now on. On the weekly calls, I am going to be primarily fielding your questions and showing you guys new information from the field and bringing in guest experts. It is going to be really interesting what we have planned for you guys in all of the future weekly calls. And this way, you know, we don't have to do this repetitious thing. You guys can go back and watch these videos, and I strongly recommend that you do, because there's a lot of nuance that you might miss the first time around. But we discussed this and, you know, listening to everybody's feedback from the society members and from folks on my team. And I tell you what, guys, a lot of people really care about this right now, from the members to people in the team that we're assembling to make this work. Everybody has taken this deadly seriously because everybody knows how vital what we're doing here is. And we're constantly thinking about how to make this better. And we thought that this would be an improvement, a radical improvement on the way we have been doing things. And that way, you guys aren't going to want to miss the future live calls because you're never going to know what's going to happen on that. And you guys are going to get to see all kinds of real-time, real-world, live examples, real questions, all of that every single week to get you guys back in tune, back into the fight, and getting you feeling optimistic and absolutely on fire about your business. And by the way, one last little plug for this thing, guys. Grab this. You're crazy if you don't pick up a copy of this. And when you guys, and by the way, the version of this campaign you're looking at now, this is iteration 1. Okay. You guys know I'm a kind of guy who likes to work fast. You know, I wrote the Irresistible Offer in 1 day, right? I banged this funnel out in 1 day. And I've got some professional copywriting friends looking at this, and they're sending me messages back going, you wrote that in a day? That's crazy. Guys, this is going to change. Why? Because what we do live in campaigns is we test things. We find out what works and we find out what doesn't. We throw out what doesn't work, and then we amplify what does work. That's the only way to improve. But you guys are going to get an inside look at a whole bunch of really cool stuff that we're doing here with this campaign. Now, here's the risk with this, guys. This campaign could totally flop. You can never predict these things. You can never predict it. This is why we test. So it's my job. Let's say the first iteration of this doesn't do too well. Well, am I going to be like, oh man, that's too bad. That offer didn't work. No, I'm going to start tweaking things. I'm going to start testing things. I'm going to start playing with different ideas. I might even go, make a hard pivot in one direction or another based on the data that the customers, that the audience is giving back to me. That's how you succeed in anything, guys. Now, another way to succeed in anything is just to keep trying new things. Now, one way I could handle this would be to just, roll this campaign out, see if it does well. And if it doesn't, move on to the next campaign. But with a campaign like this, because this is such a great big idea, it has such potential, it's a resource that's going to help so many people. And you guys have no idea the amount of work that has gone in to this resource. This is an absolute monster. With something like this, you want to take the time to tweak it, to make it better. And there are other reasons why I'm doing that, in particular in this campaign, that I will be revealing to you guys over next month's 4 calls. Anyway, collectively, all 8 of those calls are going to be in the can. And then in January, we're going to start a whole brand new thing on these weekly calls. Now, before we get into the topic of today, which is integration marketing cash cow number 1, the integration marketing deal broker, you guys know I like to start things out with some news. And for those of you who are watching this, perhaps years in the future, you're going to see some outdated news, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how outdated this news is, because it's revealing the larger principle of why integration marketing is so absolutely essential for us right now. Okay. So, I don't know what this news is going to mean 3, 5, 10 years down the road when some people are going to be watching this video, but the same principles will still apply. They will just be applying in different ways. And it's going to be up to you to look at the business battlefield as it is in the moment to understand how the principles still apply. Because here's the thing about base principles, guys. Base principles, the more profound they are, the more correct they are, the more perennial they are. This is why people are still reading The Art of War by Sun Tzu today, even people in business. Why? Because the principles taught in that book are time-tested, deep truths about reality. This is why people still read Shakespeare. And by the way, if you don't read Shakespeare, you're doing yourself a tremendous disservice, especially if you're a native English speaker. You are missing out on some of the richest ways that you can improve your life. If you're not reading classics of philosophy like the great Stoic works, you are missing out in your life, because you're going to be learning deep truths about humanity, about life that don't change. Well, the truths that I will be revealing here about what's going on in the world right now are probably also not going to change. several years down the road. The way that they manifest will change for sure, especially in this dynamic landscape. But the underlying principle that I'm building up to right now and the news that I'm about to share with you is the real thing that we need to look at. Now, before I show you the news today that I want to share with you, I just want to reiterate a few of the things that we've been talking about. We have been talking about how the rapid pace of technological change is making it so that what works yesterday doesn't work today. If you're relying on one particular tactic, that tactic could be rendered useless by a single algorithmic change in any of the major platforms. But it gets deeper than that. We also know from the news that I've been sharing with you guys, from these insiders who have been coming out from Google and Twitter and Facebook and sharing that, yes, these guys are censoring people deliberately on the back end of their platforms. And they're doing it stealthily, and they're not doing it fairly. They're doing it in one direction. We know that that's happening too. You could wake up one morning and for some random reason that nobody inside these large tech platforms will explain to you, they have shut down all of your ads. We've seen that too. I told you guys stories about Eric Von Sydow, who had been also an Integration Marketing Society member, dutifully posting extremely popular videos on his YouTube channel for 10 years, to wake up one morning to discover that his YouTube channel was shut down and they wouldn't even let him log back in to get his old videos. And you guys probably know many people who have had their ad accounts shut down by Google and Facebook and Twitter with no rational explanation. They are gaslighting us because they're not telling us how they're doing it. And it may have happened to you. And you don't know when that's going to happen next. Now, the news I'm going to share with you at this point seems unrelated, but it reveals a larger principle that underscores the urgency of why we're doing this together. This is why some of the extremely successful businesses that are now part of the Integration Marketing Society are huddling all of their people together saying, guys, we have to have a major strategic shift in our organization to make integration marketing our primary focus. Why are these extremely intelligent people doing this? You know a few of the reasons. I'm getting to a deeper reason now. And when you have this aha, you're going to be like, holy crap, I see the world in a different way now. I'm going to share with you guys now something that is also from this group, Project Veritas. Whether you agree with this group's political bent, they are a decidedly conservative group. That doesn't matter. This group has been leaking videos from insiders in the tech world. They have just leaked one of the most astonishing things I have ever seen. This is a hot mic video of an ABC News reporter who was not aware, this lady, Amy Robach, hope I'm pronouncing her name correctly. She did not know that this video would go live. And she was about to go live on the news. And then before they were going live, she was just having a conversation with her producer. And she revealed that 3 years ago, she had the whole Jeffrey Epstein story. She had all of it and all of the implications. And ABC canned the story. They killed it. Why? Because apparently people in the royal family and others were threatening them, in her words, a million different ways, preventing them from going live. And what you see in this video is her very recently saying that now that the Jeffrey Epstein story is actually out in the open, she's livid that she had known about this for 3 years and nobody did a damn thing. Now, what does this have to do with us as marketers? Why am I telling you this? Why is this, this is a media thing, Mark. Why, this isn't an ad platform thing. This isn't a tech platform thing. Well, guys, the news networks run the same way. All big media is run the same way. It's run by people who have certain biases and certain agendas. This is becoming clearer and clearer and clearer over time. Now, if you want to advertise on any of these networks, you have to play by their rules. And apparently, if you want to be a reporter even on ABC, You've got to play by some crazy, strange rules that say that one of the biggest, most important stories that you could possibly reveal on this planet is not relevant enough to be news. Okay? How does that happen? Well, here's the larger principle that I want to explain to you guys. And this is going to help you understand at a deep level why integration marketing is so critical for us, guys. Let me break it down to you very, very simply at the rock bottom. This is the bedrock truth that you need to understand. Okay? The world is not, black people versus white people, as a lot of people want us to believe. It's not Democrats versus Republicans. It's not left versus right, whatever that even means. That doesn't even describe anything really in politics. It's not nation versus nation. It's those with power against everybody else. And if you don't have the power, if you don't have the connections with the people in power, or if you don't play the game the way people in power want you to play the game, they are going to cut your access off. It's as simple as that, guys. Whether you want to show up on Facebook, get ads on Google, post YouTube videos, show up on one of these news shows as a guest, advertise on any of these networks. If you don't play their game, you can't play. But here's the real problem. Now, you might say, well, Mark, I'll just play the game. It's their platform. I'll play their game. Here's the real problem, guys. They don't tell you the rules of the game. You can't know. So what do? What you do, guys, is integration marketing. This is the way to stabilize your business. Now, those of you who have been with us for a little while know the metaphor of a table with 1,000 legs. For those of you years in the future who are listening to this for the first time, the table with 1,000 legs is the anti-fragile way to build true stability in your business. Now, if you've read Taleb and Anti-Fragile, you know that anti-fragile is actually a step above stability. Okay? It's stability isn't what you go for. Anti-fragility is what you go for. And you build anti-fragility the same way you're building your table with 1,000 legs. You have so many things providing support for you that it's impossible to stop you. If you have a table with 1,000 legs, you can cut off 100 and you're still standing. If you have only one leg on your table, once you chop off that leg, you don't have a table anymore. You got a useless hunk of wood sitting on the ground. It's not going to do you a damn bit of good. If you have one marketing tactic, guys, if you're getting all of your traffic from one source, you're in serious trouble. Make no mistake, guys. It's not, this can't happen to me. This is only happening to other people. It's a question of when. Because again, you don't know the rules. They don't tell you the rules. You have no way of predicting whether or not they're going to cut off your access. So what do, guys? If you are a UMV owner, which we will be talking about soon, you need to have hundreds, thousands, even more integration marketing deals with people all over the world, sending customers into your business at a $0 ad cost. Guys, it is the single most powerful thing you can do. Those of you who have been with this for a little while, you guys know by now how important this is. You know how vital this is. Remember, I'm not just speaking to you. I am now speaking to all future Integration Marketing Society members. Now, I don't know what the world is going to look like when you watch this video, guys. I have no idea. But I guarantee you, if you look at the world through the right lens, you will see that what I am talking about will still be true. Because these dynamics, these are basic human dynamics that have been true for thousands upon thousands upon thousands of years. This is the real way that the world works. It's about power, guys. It's about power. And integration marketing is an asymmetric warfare tactic, an asymmetric warfare strategy. Make no mistake, guys. What is asymmetric warfare? It means you are fighting a foe who is more powerful than you. With integration marketing, You can fight and defeat businesses that are bigger than you, that are outspending you. You can fight and defeat the major ad platforms, the major media platforms. This is putting power back into your hands, guys. And the history of asymmetric warfare shows us that not only is this possible, but those who are adept at this art of war, at these asymmetric warfare tactics, win more than the bigger forces. This is how the Vietnamese were able to kick out the most powerful military force on the planet out of their country. How did the United States, with all of their weaponry, lose the Vietnam War? How did they leave in a humiliating defeat? And this is a former U.S. soldier, a veteran of the intelligence community, telling you that that's what happened. That's not even disputable history. We know that that's a fact. And history is full of example after example after example of people who know how to fight asymmetric warfare, defeating bigger foes. And that is what you guys are learning. You are putting the ultimate power into your own hands so that you don't have to play by anybody else's rules. You don't have to be beholden to their ideology. You don't have to listen to their aims for what is right or wrong in your life. You have the power, guys. This is the tool. But there's a catch. You got to practice this, guys. This is a skill. You've got to come back every week and get in on these calls. You've got to be studying the materials, guys. And more importantly, you've got to be following the day-to-day Integration Marketing Society battle plan. Do this every day, guys. I hope that you have printed this sucker out and that this is right by your workstation. And I hope that you're really taking this seriously and doing it every day, because it's in the doing, it's in the practice that you really get mastery. Now I'm going to give you guys some knowledge right now. And knowledge is important, folks. It's important. Make no mistake. But there's a great scene in Game of Thrones where this character, Littlefinger, says to this other character named Cersei, who was the mother of the king at the time. And Littlefinger says, you know, a lot of people like you in these powerful families, you forget that knowledge is power. Then she orders her guards to seize him. And then she says, cut his throat. And then she says, oh, no, wait, stop. I changed my mind. Take 3 steps, turn around. And she demonstrated to that man the power that she had in her hands. And she walked up to him. And she whispered to him, knowledge is not power. Power is power. And you would be wise to remember that. That is real wisdom, guys. That is legit information from the strangest of places, from popular media. They revealed a deep, deep truth. It's the same deep truth that we're talking about right now. Power is power. Okay? But knowledge, don't discount the value of knowledge. We have to know the right way to do things. If Cersei did not know how to exercise her power, she would not remain in power. If you don't know how to exercise the power that you have, you will remain powerless, or you will become powerless if you have power now. What is the power that all of us have right now? I know that we have people from across the economic spectrum listening right now. We have people all the way from extremely successful business owners, huge real estate developers, owners of empires, all the way down to brand new business startups listening to this. All of you have the same power, and that power comes from the knowledge of asymmetric warfare. All of this is rooted in that, guys. It is rooted in giving you an unfair advantage over those who think they have unchallengeable power over you. Nobody has unchallengeable power over you unless you allow it. No game is over until it's over. No fight is lost until there is no more breath in your lungs. I am showing you guys the best way to fight. So with the knowledge that you are about to acquire about integration marketing cash cow number 1, the integration marketing deal broker, it is meaningless unless you apply it. And the application cannot be a one and done thing, guys. It needs to be constant. It needs to be constant. As the great Buckminster Fuller taught us in his notion of precession, it is the movement in life that matters more than anything else. What did he mean by that? Well, he gave us the metaphor of a hummingbird getting nectar from the flower. But as the hummingbird gets the nectar from the flower, it's also getting pollen on its wings. And as it flits from flower to flower, it is pollinating the other flowers. So what Bucky was telling us was very profound in that. Very, very profound. Think about this. Bucky tells us that this universe is so complex, that the world is so large, and we have so little control over the way the universe is designed, that we have unintended consequences in our very act of moving. But it's this act of moving that makes the world go. See, here's the thing. Even though the hummingbird has no idea that it's pollinating the flowers, in the act of moving, it is also ensuring the survivability of itself by ensuring that the source of its own sustenance remains thriving. If it weren't for the hummingbird spreading the pollen, the flowers would not thrive as much. So by moving, the hummingbird has this unintended effect that it's not even aware that it's having, but unbeknownst to the hummingbird, it is actually sustaining its own very source of existence. This is one of 2 reasons I'm about to tell you why movement is so important. Well, I'll give you 3 actually. Second one is, as the great Maxwell Maltz said in Psycho-Cybernetics, he had this beautiful metaphor. He said, it's easy to balance a bike moving forward, but exceedingly difficult to balance a bike when it is standing still. Very few people can do it. It takes a lot of practice. But almost anybody can ride a bike. Why? Because the forward motion gives stability. If you guys are not involved in forward motion in your business on a day-to-day basis, you're going to get depressed. You're going to decay. So the answer to almost everything is movement. And here's one more reason why. If you don't practice things, you're not going to get better. The problem is, when we first start out with anything, we don't do a very good job usually. Unless you're a child prodigy like Mozart, who was able to play like no one else at 5 years old. Okay, that's a very rare thing, but I don't think even he, came out of the womb with that skill. He had a tyrannical father who pushed him, the way the Jacksons had a tyrannical father who pushed them. Even though they had prodigious talent, if it weren't for the pushing, if it weren't for that tyranny over them, forcing them to practice, they would not have achieved the level of greatness that they did. So guys, you've got to get in there and do this stuff every day. That's why this is your day-to-day battle plan. Every day, guys, every day. And the more you do it, the better you're going to get. And the better you're going to get, the more you're going to make. And I'm pretty sure that's why you're here. You want financial stability. Now, we'll have another deeper conversation about financial stability and what that really means at another time. If you guys want the short answer for that, go check out the Financial Growth Habit inside your Simpleology accounts. All of you have access to that. It is going to give you the simplest way to build an anti-fragile investment strategy for yourself, for your personal wealth. Because guess what? You need that too, guys. The table with 1,000 legs metaphor does not just apply to your marketing. It applies to everything. Now, before I go over the knowledge of today, which will be pretty quick, I want to remind everybody, below the video box, you have I'm looking at some comments here. Somebody said, I can hear you, but I'm seeing only a screen that says, welcome to the Integration Marketing Society. So unsure if the screen is reflecting what you're showing. Guys, let me know if that's changed since then, by the way. By the way, guys, I do this stuff, live in real time. So I want to get live feedback. Obviously, some of you guys are using the Ask Mark box. Please use it to ask your questions now, but I would love to get some feedback if you guys are seeing the screen change now. If it's not changing, that's a problem. Might have to reshoot this. But please do let me know if you have seen a change. And it's looking like, ooh, man, we are not seeing a change on this. Okay, something is not working. And hopefully my guys are listening, and we've got some technical assistance on the back end. Maybe you guys can do something in the background to get that fixed. It's a shame. Man, I am quite surprised that is the case. Let me see if there's something I can do right here to make that right. Maybe there's a mistake. Okay, let me know. Okay, you guys should see a different, you know what? This was my mistake, guys. We might just have to re-edit this video to get that information in there. Let me show you guys the things that you would have seen really quick. Hopefully you were listening. Okay, so this, by the way, is the not so little calendar that grows your business. This is the campaign I was telling you guys about. You guys will find that inside your Simpleology accounts. You will see a little notice. I'm not going to see it on this account now because I've already clicked it, but in the lower right-hand corner here, you guys will see a little notification. That is how to get the little calendar that grows your business. I'm going to have to re-edit this because I think that what was said was good. Too bad I made a technical mistake. Thank you guys for catching that. I really appreciate that. I should have been paying attention to your feedback earlier. I would have caught that earlier. Thank you guys very much. Now that we are back into the game, and by the way, guys, this is the Project Veritas video I was showing you guys, the ABC thing. I'm going to have to just edit all this stuff back in and probably edit this little part out when we make this the final resource. This is what mistakes do, guys. They create rework, and it is what it is. Just going to have to put a little extra time to get it right. Let's get back into the swing of the call. So, a little reminder. Before we dive into today's knowledge, I want you guys to go to the Ask Mark box and type in any questions you have for me, because I will be answering all of the questions that we can have time for here before we wrap it up for today. So there we go. Let us talk about integration marketing, cash cow number one, the integration marketing deal broker. So who is this for, guys? No product, no business, no problem. Become an integration marketing deal broker. Bonus, it's a bolt-on side hustle opportunity for everyone. Now, guys, if I were to start out right now with absolutely nothing, let's imagine I lost everything. Lost all of my investments, all of my businesses, lost everything. What do I still have? Well, I still have the knowledge that I have. I still have the connections that I have. I still have the business systems that I have built. I still have the culture in my business. And this, by the way, is why in Fire Mission Academy, we advise you to build your business upon two things, to build a lifeboat business. And that means to build it on systems and culture. But if I were to start out even without a business now, if I lost my business and lost all my business systems, I would go be an integration marketing deal broker. Why? Because it is the quickest, easiest way for me to make cash by putting deals together for people who don't know how to put those deals together. If I can get two people together and say, hey guys, if you two join forces, you are both going to make more money together if you cooperate than you would separately. If I do that, I am doing both of those guys a favor, and I am also doing myself a favor because I'm going to get a slice of that. Now, I can't think of a faster, easier way to make money. And I tell you what, sometimes I even think, man, you know what I should just do? I should just, and I won't do this, by the way, but we all have mornings when we wake up and we don't want to do what we're doing. And I think, man, you know what? I could just be an integration marketing deal broker all day long and my life would be so easy. I'd be so easy. But you know what? I don't really want an easy life. But maybe some of you guys do. This is the opportunity for you if you do that. And there are people who do this as a profession. And the number of people who are going to be doing this as a profession is only going to increase as the society grows, guys, as the society grows. Now, how do we do this? We marry up Company A's UMV, that's a unit of marketing value, with Company B's integration point. Now, if you don't know what those terms mean, you just scroll down to the glossary here and it explains all of the key terms, all of that basic stuff that you guys need to understand. Okay, guys, this little resource here, the Kickstart Kit, has got pretty much everything you need to know to start doing integration marketing right out of the gate. But I don't want you to stop there. I want you to get in. I want you to read the book. I want you to take the Integration Marketing Masterclass because it's going to teach you nuance. And by the way, guys, in the Masterclass, we have got so many resources in there. So many resources. Look at this. It's just on level 1. Look at all of these email templates, HTML templates, tools. There's an interview on this. And I walk a guy who has no business experience at all through how to do integration marketing. And this, by the way, in level 1 is all about cash cow opportunity number 3. It's all about how to go out there and find those integration points and start making deals. Okay, so guys, all of the resources that we have for you, I strongly encourage you to get in there and master all of them. But we gave you the kickstart so that you could hit the ground running. You want to start making results now, right? Well, great. Read the Kickstart Kit, start practicing, start following the day-to-day battle plan, but over time, dig deeper and deeper into the nuance. Take level 1, take level 2, take level 3. Take all of it. Look at, learn, absorb, and use all of these tools, guys. Some amazing stuff here for you that's gonna start making money for you instantly. Okay, but I want you to get results right away. So don't wait. Don't say, well, I'd better take the masterclass first before I get going. No. Get started practicing first and continue deepening your knowledge as you go. That's the ideal way to do this, guys. Practice, study, practice, study, practice, study, with stronger emphasis on the practice, because that's where the real lessons are going to come. Sometimes you study things and you don't really understand it until you practice it. You don't really understand it until you practice it. Okay, I got a good question that's come in here. We're going to field that in a minute. And for all of you other guys, if you have other questions, please type them in, guys, because I will answer as many as we possibly can. Now, what are some useful skills if you want to be an integration marketing deal broker? Well, networking would obviously be helpful if you know how to network with people. And by the way, if you guys don't have networking skills, ask me questions about this. How can you be a good networker? How does that work? Charisma. We have something called Charisma Academy inside Simpleology that teaches you how charisma actually works. Rapport. What does that mean? It means establishing trust with people, to put it simply, right? It's feeling like you're comfortable with someone. Because by the way, if you don't have rapport with somebody, nothing else is possible with those people. And also sales skills are important. Now, While we don't teach some of this stuff directly, we can. And any questions you guys have about this stuff, guess what? I'm here to answer all of your questions. I am here to answer all of your questions. Okay, so don't feel like, oh man, I need to know this thing and I don't know it. I'm going to throw up my hands. Guys, I am here to help you. There is a whole group of us here, a whole team of us here who are going to be helping you. Okay, and it's the society itself and it's all of the other members that we're bringing in. What's the right way to do this, guys? Use the point scoring system to increase the chance of finding a giant oak. Don't throw away small deals, they add up, but always be on the hunt for the deals that are likely to render higher impact. Now that point scoring system, and I see a question here about that, here we're going to get to in a moment, is right here. Okay, this is very, very useful, guys. If you guys haven't looked at this, this is maybe one of the most powerful things I have ever built. This is going to show you how to predict the likelihood that an integration marketing deal is going to pay off for you. It's a very, very good way to troubleshoot this stuff. And you notice I mentioned a giant oak. Okay, so we have some metaphors here for the hierarchy of integration marketing deals. We have the sprout. We have the seedling. We have the sapling and the tree. Don't be afraid to make a whole bunch of individual sprout deals because part of this metaphor implies that the deals grow. If you make a deal with a guy who's not big now, if his business blows up, that deal can turn into a seedling, can turn into a sapling, can turn into a tree, can turn into a mighty oak. When I first trained the young Russell Brunson, I was doing some deals with him that were sprout deals, but I saw potential in the young man. I would say that is a relationship that has clearly blossomed into a giant oak. I can name many, many, many such relationships. Don't discount the value of any one or the value of any deals. Now, what are some helpful but non-essential skills? Tech skills. Tech skills. Here's why this is important, guys. I've seen deals go through the stages of integration marketing deals. Okay, so we've got 4 stages here: mining, closing, implementing, and optimizing. You can mine a deal perfectly. You can even close it. But if in the implementation phase you get stuck because somebody doesn't know how to do something technically, sometimes it's useful if you roll up your sleeves and get in there and make it work for them. So if you've got tech skills, that's useful. But guess what? We've got something called the Integration Marketing Society Developer Network. We have got guys that I have personally worked with over decades now who not only understand integration marketing, but understand all of the technical details of how these deals work. You can hire them for a reasonable fee to make this stuff happen for you. If you guys need the assistance of the Integration Marketing Society Developer Network, post about that in the community in Minds. And, well, it's in Minds now. Who knows? If you listen to this a few years from now, it may be somewhere else. But so far, right now, it's doing nicely on Minds. Or just contact support@simpleology.com. We will get you hooked up with those guys. And they will do great work for you at a reasonable fee. I promise you that. I guarantee you that. What's the wrong way to do this stuff, guys? It's to push deals through despite message to market mismatches. You're not going to sell many all beef hot dogs to a room full of vegans, no matter the size of the room. So when you're putting deals together, put good deals together. The point scoring system, by the way, will prevent almost every one of these potential problems if you use it correctly. It will troubleshoot these things. You will know in advance whether or not a deal is likely to work. But again, don't throw deals away. Take any deal you can get, but always edge towards doing it better and better, doing it more and more effectively. Now, what are the pros to this opportunity? Literally zero experience required. Anyone could do this without a degree or any special training beyond what we provide here in Integration Marketing Society. Truly, you could take anyone even without any business skill. The guy that I walked this through here. You know what this guy's major was? This is a very brilliant guy, but he majored in Aboriginal studies. Wonderful guy, good friend of mine, but knew absolutely bupkis about business. Nothing at all. That's how drop dead simple we made everything for you guys. All right. Anybody without any business experience can do this stuff. And the deal broker opportunity is the easiest of all. It's the easiest of all. Number 2, quality integration marketing deals can pay second-tier commissions to the integration marketing deal broker for years, if not decades. And guys, there are people that I have been paying for decades now on certain integration marketing deals. Fact. Okay? That's how powerful this is. They had to do a deal once and they're still getting paid. They're still getting paid. And by the way, when we start talking about cash cow opportunity number 3, you will be creating these deals, and these deals have the same benefit sometimes. There are integration marketing deals that I have made with people one-to-one without a broker where I'm still paying those guys. I'm still paying those guys. Why? Because the integration marketing that we built together is still valid because they're still getting traffic to the place where we set that deal up, and they're still making extra money, so they don't want to change it. Why would they? It's free money. I get messages from these guys all the time. Mark, I love seeing these emails and PayPal deposits coming in for stuff we did years ago. Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? And that, by the way, is why you should also be paying lifetime commissions if you have an affiliate program. And if you don't, you need to get one because it's going to make integration marketing for you as a business owner. If cash co opportunity number 3 and 4 is your thing, well, you need to have that technology in place. You need to have that technology in place. And if you don't know how to do that, ask me. There are solutions to all of these things, guys. Don't be overwhelmed. And I see a question here about overwhelm, and we're going to get to that in a minute. Number 3, it's a bolt-on opportunity for every business owner. Everyone alive should be looking for opportunities to be an integration marketing deal broker at all times. Guys, even if you are a regular business owner, you know people who might not be a good fit for you. You think, you know what, I can never do an integration marketing deal with this guy because we're in completely different spaces. But I know this other guy that's in the same space as him. And if I can broker a deal between them and get a slice of that, get a second-tier commission on that, why would I not do that? Why would I not do that? Because not only is it going to make me money over time, money that I would have never had, money I can get paid on potentially for years or decades just by having one conversation, it's creating goodwill. It's creating goodwill. Guys, one of the reasons I have been able to have so much staying power in the marketplace is that I make it a point of creating goodwill everywhere I go. I take Buckminster Fuller's advice about precession very seriously. I am palpably aware of the fact that every time I am moving and flapping my wings, I am pollinating the world around me. And I want to be pollinating the world with good stuff, with things that people are going to appreciate, people who are going to look back and go, man, Mark made that possible for me. That is why I have so many allies, guys, because I have done so many things to help people as a habit. So I am always on the lookout for integration marketing deals from the lens of a broker, even though that's not my primary gig by a long shot. I do it just for the goodwill. The money that I get from that is just a nice bonus. Now, here are the cons. Sometimes you'll have to roll up your sleeves and get your elbows dirty to remove any friction and resistance from closing the deal. For example, they don't know how to do the technical part and are not being resourceful in finding a solution. It's up to you to be resourceful for them, to show them how to be resourceful. Because as you know, most people on this planet are throw up your hands and give up kind of people. That's not the way to go through life. Being resourceful means I don't know a way. I will find a way. I will find a way because there is always a way. In an infinite universe, how could it be otherwise? So if you step in and be resourceful and find a solution that you will increase your deal closure rate dramatically. If you step in and be resourceful and find a solution, you will increase your deal closure rate dramatically. Dramatically, guys. Remember, this doesn't mean you have to have the technical skills yourself. You only need to connect them with the people who do. And as you guys know, we have the Integration Marketing Society developer network there. You guys have the connections now yourself. You only need to connect them with the people who do. Be an optimistic problem solver, and you will close considerably more deals than those with a defeatist attitude. And those with a defeatist attitude are not going to make it in business to begin with. Okay, so this is a must-do thing in your life in general, guys. A must-do thing in your life. Now, let's get to the question since we have covered the topic of the week, which is integration marketing, cash cow number 1, the integration marketing deal broker. You guys know how to do this now. That's really it, guys. That's basically it. Okay. By the way, Wayne Buchanan, one of the members of the Integration Marketing Society Developer Network, just raised his hand to let everybody know, hey, I'm here. All right. Wayne Buchanan is here. We got Paul Galloway here. Those are two of the developers I trust the most. Guys, I have worked hand in hand with these guys for decades. These guys have my absolute trust, my absolute faith in their skills and in their business acumen to make this stuff work for you. And I have never seen them overcharge anybody, and they have never been late on the work. They have never overpromised and underdelivered. These guys are great. That's why they are there. And I'm gearing them up to be ready to expand their teams, because as the society grows, they know that their skills are going to be more and more in demand. So Wayne, I am grateful to have you around, brother. And by the way, Wayne is a PhD level software developer and a guy who has all kinds of other interesting skills as well. Very, very profoundly powerful man, as is Paul Galloway, the other lead in the Integration Marketing Society Developer Network. Now, let's get to some of the questions here. All right. Veet, I think, am I pronouncing your name correctly, Veet? Tell me how to, because I see your name come up a lot. And I want to make sure I'm pronouncing it correctly. Okay, he says, I have a couple of questions regarding the Integration Marketing Society scoring system as a unit of marketing value owner that wants to integrate with others. 1, how do you evaluate traffic estimates on websites or sign up or for purchases? That's question number 1. 2, how do you evaluate the rapport of readers, the weight of their recommendations, and their believability? That's question number 2. Then something more specifically. We have a free glaucoma webinar that I would like to integrate with diabetes websites because most diabetics are at risk to get glaucoma. What value would you give a glaucoma offer on a diabetes website? Awesome, awesome questions. Let's go to question number 1. How do you evaluate traffic estimates on websites or sign up or for purchases? Well, the first thing you do is you ask them. You ask them. They may or may not give you legitimate information. Another way to do that is that there are analytical services online, and I don't want to name any specific ones right now because this is a constantly moving target. And maybe some of you guys can recommend in the Integration Marketing Society deal room some ways to evaluate traffic that are working right now. But you can get a relative score on the ranking. You can even get traffic estimates of how many weekly visitors a domain is getting. That is one way to do it. That is one way to do it. Okay. But really, you want to ask them. Now, hopefully you're dealing with people who are giving you truthful answers. Okay. Now, are there any foolproof ways to know this stuff? Can you get perfect information on these things? Nope. You can't. It's not possible. It's not possible. So guys, as with everything in business, some of this has to do with estimating things. I'm very fond of saying, one of my joinerisms, if you will, marketing is part art, part science, and part voodoo. We can talk one day about the voodoo part, all right? Primarily has to do with your attitude and your enthusiasm and the way you make people feel around you, all right? But the art, part of the art here is evaluating the numbers, evaluating the science, and using your gut, using your instincts, using all of your resources. You know, there's a theory now, you know, that we really have three brains, that we have the brain in your head, and that the heart and the gut are part of a complex of different ways of sensing and experiencing information, different ways of you evaluating the world around you. And if you're not using your heart and your gut intelligence, and that could be, you know, stated perhaps as intuition and instinct, right? If you're not using those things, you're not using all of your tools. You can't be just analytical, because there are things that our heart and our gut, if you will, tell us that guide us in the right way. In fact, we've all had the experience of failing to listen to our gut and then regretting it later because we knew in our heart of hearts, as they say. Interesting how they've used this language for thousands of years. We knew in our heart of hearts that something wouldn't work, but we didn't listen to it. We knew it in our gut that it wouldn't work, but we didn't listen to it, and we regretted it. You've got to listen to those things. So it's part art, part science, part voodoo. So you've got to just accept that none of this stuff is perfect. All of these tools are tools of estimation. None of them are perfect tools of prediction. Why can't we make perfect predictions when we're talking about human behavior? Well, when you're dealing with something like engineering, you can be extremely precise and you can be extremely accurate. Why? Because you've identified all of the variables. You've identified all of the variables. You know extremely well what all of the moving parts are. You know extremely well all of the rules that govern their interactions. You can predict with absolute precision how well something like that is going to work. This is why in the second half of my military career, when I was an artillery officer, we were able to get a round on target, 50 principles of human behavior precisely. We're getting deeper and deeper understanding of this stuff, but we still don't understand what really makes humans tick. We got a lot of clues, and we're going to be talking about these clues over time, getting you more and more adept at these things. Okay, but we don't know all of them. And we don't know everything that's going on in the marketplace. It's impossible for us to know, so we have to be comfortable with estimates. We have to be comfortable with making the best possible guess we can, knowing full well that we could be dead wrong. But it's okay. We learn and we try again. We refine, we get better. And then over time, your gut brain, your heart brain, your conscious neocortex brain, your unconscious mind, this complex of information that we are swimming in, will know sometimes better than your conscious mind will. And that comes from repetition and practice. This is how mastery occurs, even when you're uncertain about things. So let's go to Veet's question number 2. He said, no, it's like fight. So with a softer F at the beginning. So it's Veit. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. Where are you from, by the way? It sounds like maybe the Netherlands. I'm just guessing based on your name, and I hope I got that right too, my friend. All right, so number 2, he says, how do you evaluate the rapport of readers, the weight of the recommendations, and their believability? Now, this is something that you've also got to kind of estimate. Look at their YouTube channel. What kind of comments are they getting from people? What kind of interaction are they getting? What do other people say about them? What do people who you know have interaction with these people have to say about them? You got to sniff different sources of information out here, because guess what? There's a lot of quote unquote fake news out there, right? There's a lot of wrong information. In fact, in the business battlefield, fake news is one of the places where This has been happening the most egregiously for the longest time. Why? Because you've got people out there putting up fake review sites to make their competitors look bad and to make themselves look good. So the Google search results aren't a perfect answer. The YouTube comments aren't a perfect answer. The Facebook comments aren't a perfect example. It's what people say in a group of people isn't a perfect example. It's not the perfect answer. What do? Well, you got to look at all of this stuff. You've got to get the gestalt of all of these things, if you will, and get a sense for it. Again, it's a tool of estimation. There is no precise way to measure reputation. If anybody could come up with a perfect way to measure reputation, I would love to hear it. Now, I see all of these reputation indexes out there, but they're largely kind of full of crap because they can't possibly know what reputation is. And guess what? There's a large misnomer out there. People say, once your reputation is ruined, you can never get it back. And that's not true either. That's not true at all. Everything changes, guys. Everything changes. Okay? There are people who lost their reputations and regained it. There's a great actor, let's see if I can remember his name. It's Mickey Rourke. Mickey Rourke lost his status as Hollywood royalty. They would not give him a job. He came back with this iconic role, and then he was back in the limelight again. His reputation was completely destroyed, and he absolutely rebuilt his life. Here's another one. John Travolta. Any of you who are old enough to know, John Travolta was one of the biggest stars in the world, and then he was a nobody. He literally couldn't get decent roles. And then Quentin Tarantino put him in Pulp Fiction, and boom, he became one of the biggest stars in the world again. The game ain't over until there's no more breath in your lungs, guys. The game ain't over until there's no more breath in your lungs. So we don't know what someone's reputation is. It's a constantly moving target. We have to estimate these things. So we have to be comfortable with making our best estimate. And guys, this is one of the really, truly difficult things about business, because almost everything in business, unless you're in a business that has to do with engineering, you've got one component that's very predictable and very reliable, but all the rest of it is a crapshoot. But you want to get better and better at estimating this crapshoot. Imagine you're playing dice. You're playing craps. Well, you don't know how the dice are going to come up. You have no idea. But imagine if you had even a slight advantage at knowing how the dice would turn up. If you could somehow, through some magical technology, discover a way to be just even a little bit better at predicting the way the dice were going to turn up, you could become a millionaire overnight on the craps table. Why? Because it's tiny, tiny advantages that make the difference in business. And the point scoring system is going to give you much more than a tiny, tiny advantage. It's going to give you an enormous advantage. Now, to Veit's last question, he says, we have a free glaucoma webinar that I would like to integrate with diabetes websites because most diabetics are at risk to get glaucoma. What value would you give a glaucoma offer on a diabetes website? I would give that a very high value, my friend. Now, I don't know what the correlation is between diabetes and glaucoma, but I know it is quite high. Okay. But what I will tell you is this: every diabetes patient will be fearful of getting glaucoma. And that's going to give you even more point scoring. Now, you, by the way, you have an offer that is extremely powerful, because as you get into the point scoring system, you'll see that that's something else that we put value on as well. Okay, how urgent is the need? Now, by the way, you guys can use another point scoring system in the book, The Irresistible Offer. I show you how to evaluate offers. I give you another spectrum that you can use to evaluate offers. Invite, if you were to use that and the integration marketing point scoring system, looking at your offer, I will guarantee you right now, you are sitting on a potential gold mine, my friend. That is a great potential deal. You have got a product that is solving an intensely painful problem for people. You're dealing with serious fear. That, man, this is an easy to sell kind of thing. And if your solution is one that is unusual and unusually powerful and convincing, if it's what Eugene Schwartz called a big idea, and if you don't know what that is, read Breakthrough Advertising. All right, and we can talk about that too, as much as you guys want. But if you can communicate that in the perfect way and you continue to find audiences like this, glaucoma offers to diabetics is perfect. It's perfect. The only better one you could have is a group of people who are diagnosed with glaucoma. But I guarantee almost everybody who has diabetes is fearful of getting glaucoma. And if they're not, you need to educate them. But this is a really great deal you're sitting on, my friend. Okay, next question here from Carl Dickens. Mark, I will admit that I'm a bit overwhelmed with what you're saying. I am in the middle of the material and trying to absorb all of it. All I can do for the moment is to learn how much I do not know and start trying to absorb. I'm sure that I will eventually have a lot of questions and be able to contribute more. Carl, I am sure you will as well, because the fact that you're studying and that you're doing this proves to me that you will get there. Okay, here's the key, Carl. Here's the key. You're studying. Are you doing the battle plan? Are you doing the battle plan? Here's what's going to happen. When you do the battle plan, you're going to get stuck at certain points. You're going to go, I don't know how to do that. This is where you show up on the call and you go, Mark, I was doing this thing in the battle plan and I got stuck with this. And I will answer that question. And then when you get back to the resources, when you get back to the masterclass, it's going to probably answer all those questions for you. But you're going to know what's getting you stuck by the doing. This is why the day-to-day battle plan is a day-to-day battle plan. We do this every day, guys, every day. Because you're not going to know what's important until you roll up your sleeves and you get started actually doing the stuff. Now, Carl follows up and he says, okay, Mark, here's a question for you. All right. Hey, Carl already has a question. Is this a good example of integration marketing? My wife is a realtor who has had some limited success in my area. She asked my help to help her sell more houses. It made sense to me to put her together with a lender and make a presentation together to an invited public talk about buying or selling houses. She sold more houses. The lender had more clients. While I did not make direct money, it did increase income. Carl, dude, you think you don't understand this stuff, but what you just did was picture perfect. Picture perfect, man. And if this weren't your wife, you should have collected some commission on top of that. You'd say, hey guys, I'm going to put this deal together. Just give me a tiny slice of the deals you guys do together. That's it. And now you got passive income, but because it's your wife, you're doing it for free. Good for you. You're a good husband. Okay. And it sounds like you guys are building a family, right? That's, we don't want to chisel our family, right? But when it's, it's not chiseling is not the right word, I guess in the case of family, maybe that's the right word. That's that I would say that. Okay. I do favors for family, but when business is business, man, you could, by the way, Carl, you could do that same deal right now that you just did. Here's I'm going to blow your mind right now. Okay. What you did with your wife and that lender, you can do with as many people as you want. You don't have to just do it with your wife. Now, maybe you don't want to set up competition for your wife, so you don't want to do this in the same city. Okay, but you can go to other cities and then set up and show people what you did and say, hey, would you guys like to do this together to get some free business? Only an idiot's going to say no to that. Only an idiot's going to say no. And guess what? You can find more lenders for your wife to work with and get more audiences, and you can lather, rinse, repeat that same thing that you just did. Now we're taking a tactic and we're elevating it up to strategy. Do you see? Carl, man, this is I'm not laughing at you, man. I'm laughing for you right now. I'm feeling this is laughter of joy, because here I see a guy who was convincing himself that he was overwhelmed, who just gave me a picture perfect example of the right way to do it. Dude, you've got talent. You've got talent. I hope everybody's paying attention. This is absolutely beautiful. Okay, and Veit says he's German, by the way. Okay. All right. He also says, okay, this is the last question we've got so far. So unless we've got other questions coming in, this will be the last question for today, guys. Veit says, how much would you offer a deal broker in percentage of the sale? How much to integration partners when physical products are involved? Super good question. This depends on how much margin is available. So let's answer your second question first, because it's going to inform the first question. How much to integration partners when physical products are involved? Well, you got to figure out what the overall margin is. Okay, so the overall margin is not a simple thing, because on one level, you might be talking about a product that costs you X dollars and the price is Y dollars, and then whatever is left over from all of your different costs, that's your profit. That's the margin, right? Well, how much of that could you give away to somebody else? Well, it's got to be a slice of your margin, right? But there's another way you can look at this, because also part of integration marketing is increasing the value of the customers that you bring into the front door. That means that the front end stuff is not the end of the story. So sometimes what people do is they do a loss leader deal. And in fact, I've seen people offer 100% commissions on products to affiliates and then keep all the back end themselves, or say, hey, we'll give you 100% on the front end and an X percentage on the back end. Okay, this is all up to you based on the metrics of the marketing funnel that you have built. And marketing funnels are not just the funnels like you see built in ClickFunnels. It's a larger concept. When I was the first guy doing marketing funnels online, I was just modeling what the old direct response guys were doing offline. The funnel is a larger concept. It's not a one and done thing. There's a larger funnel that we're involved in with our customers, and it involves all of the time that we spend with them over time. And it means everything that we interact with them on over time. So now some people will say, well, just find your lifetime customer value number. Well, guess what? That's a moving target too. Okay, so this is part of the art here. It's part art, part science, part voodoo. You got to use the the information that you've got, and then you got to kind of estimate from there how much is going to motivate people to get them to move forward. Now, your other question was, how much would you offer a deal broker in percentage of the sales? Generally, I offer somewhere between 5 and 10%. But, if we're dealing with something like real estate, the amount of money available is going to be a lot less, right? It all depends. There might be 10% commission available total in a real estate deal for the real estate broker. Okay, but if you're an integration marketing broker who's putting real estate guys together with other people and you're making deals like that, you're going to make a slice of what the real estate agent makes. So it's all dependent on the margins, on the dynamics of the particular type of game that you're playing. Okay, so you've got to kind of tweak these things to find that sweet spot. And you got to help people understand, hey, this is how my market works. This is how much money is available. This is how much of that money I'm going to give you. And people understand. People are not going to be so dumb that they're going to say, hey, well, I know if I can get 50% commissions on this digital product, why am I making only 0.5% on this real estate deal? Well, when the real estate deal is $1 million, that 0.5% is a very significant thing. And when there's only 10% to play with and there's other people to pay, that 0.5% can be generous. That 1% can be generous. That 2% can be generous. So you got to put it in context for people so they understand. And when you do that, that's how you get buy-in. That's how you get trust. Now, Vite's got another question here. He says, do you view YouTube as a traffic point integration for now? And his follow-up was, do you know a viable and coming video site like YouTube, possibly in the alternative health niche? Also some great questions here. Okay, so YouTube is a traffic point integration for now. Yeah, it is a traffic point integration for sure. Absolutely. I'll tell you one really interesting way to do this. You can find successful YouTube channels and you can tell them, hey, plug my products and I'll give you an affiliate commission every time it results in a sale. That's a way you can do this right now. It is one of the richest traffic stream sources on the planet right now. It happens to be a perilous one that is not reliable, but am I telling you not to use it? Not by a long shot, right? Just don't put all your eggs in that one basket. Now, if you have 1,000 legs on YouTube, that's good, but it's still 1,000 legs of one type. You also want to diversify. That's a fantastic question. Now it says, do you know viable and upcoming video sites like YouTube, but possibly in the alternative health niche? Well, it's a good thing you ask that. What you guys see on Minds right now, on Minds.com, this is why we're using Minds.com as our social platform for Integration Marketing Society. These guys are not fully decentralized. They're not fully blockchain, but they're interesting video sites popping up right now, some of which are based on blockchain technology. Okay, you might want to look into the Steam platform. This is a blockchain-based network where they are having social sites and video sites pop up. For example, there's one called DTube right now. And I don't know how relevant this is going to be years from now when people listen to this, because again, the landscape is going to change and maybe we're going to have all kinds of brand new players coming up. But these are great opportunities for us because the censorship is greatly diminished, because you don't have this centralized control of a bunch of people prosecuting a censorship policy in secret and not telling us what that policy is. What we've got is we've got a blockchain-based platform where that simply can't happen. Start looking into those. Which of these are going to get prominence over time? We have no way of knowing. So, start dabbling in them, start watching them, start looking at the traffic stats for them. See how popular they become. Okay, and as other platforms become popular, you can invest more and more energy into those things. But remember, all of this is dynamic and changing. Remember how just a blink of an eye ago, MySpace was the place to be. And then another blink of an eye before that, it was Friendster. And then before that, it was this thing called 6 Degrees. And now Facebook has eclipsed them all, and Facebook thinks it's unbeatable. Guess what? It's not. It's not. Everything is dynamic. Every foe is defeatable, especially when you know asymmetric warfare. And asymmetric warfare is being fought in this platform war. So check that out. Like there's a lot of really interesting alternatives like that coming up. Just Google for the term blockchain social networks, blockchain video alternatives to YouTube. All kinds of video sites are coming up. People are getting tired of the censorship, because I can imagine in alternative health, you're having a lot of problems on those platforms, because that is one of the things that they are censoring the most, more than anything else. Now we've got one last question here, and if more come in, we will answer those. This is from oh my goodness, I do not even know how to pronounce your name. Is it Aminorden? Aminorden? Correct me, please. I want to know how to pronounce all of your names. I want to be respectful like that. They wrote movement, 1 precession, 2 balancing, and 3 question mark. Aha. Somebody's paying attention. Okay. 3 is practice. 3 is practice. Okay. This is why movement is so critical, guys. I'm very, very impressed that you were paying attention to that, because that may be the most significant thing essential nature of movement. The entire fabric of your existence will change, guys. The entire fabric of your existence will change. Because when you are in motion, you are healthier. You are getting better at things. You are inherently more stable. You are inherently having more effect on the world around you, hopefully a positive one. Because remember, while the hummingbird, through its precession, through its movement, is actually enriching its own source of sustenance, if it were moving in ways and spreading ugliness and hatred around itself, it would be killing off its source of sustenance. And that, to me, even if you have no sense of morality and ethics, I don't know what your spirituality is, I don't know what your cosmological view of the universe is, but even if you have a completely atheistic one from a practical level, this is a reason why we should be conscious of the effects that we have on everyone around us, because it affects our environment and thus our own source of sustenance. And that is all we have today, guys. Unless in the next few seconds another question comes in, that is what we've got for today. Next week we will be covering integration marketing cash cow number 2. And then the next week, number 3, and the next week, number 4. And then I will be breaking down for you guys specifics of how we're using integration marketing, using real world examples. And all 8 of those sessions are going to be boxed up as a resource for you guys to look at over and over and over again, and for all the future members to look at over and over and over again. And then we will be mixing things up on all of the future calls, and they are going to be very interesting, very practical, very powerful. And I hope you guys, and Amin Orden says, yes, you pronounced my name correctly. Thank you for your answer. You are quite welcome, my friend. And I'm glad I got it right. This is only to get more powerful, guys. The conviction of the team gets stronger by the day. The conviction of the members is getting stronger by the day. The success stories that I'm hearing people tell me are rolling in. And I tell you what, when that community really starts to pop off, when we've got hundreds and thousands of members inside there, it is going to be a sight to behold, guys. You are part of something profound right now. This is going to change the game for everybody involved. And I tell you what, for those who are not involved in this, I shudder for them, because the world is changing so rapidly and they are not going to be ready, guys. They don't know what's coming. You guys are going to be ready. The rest of the world is not. And that also puts you guys in a powerful position of responsibility, because you guys are, I predict, very likely going to be among the only stable people walking around in the world around you. And people are going to be looking to you for guidance. And we're going to need to provide that for them, because the world is going to need it with the volatility that we are living in right now. And I don't want to end on a negative note. I want to end on a positive note, guys. And that positive note is that we're here, that we're the lucky ones. We're the ones who have this information. We're the ones who have this opportunity. We're the ones who see all of this before everyone else does. I consider myself very, very fortunate to be surrounded by all of you. And I look forward to talking to you guys again next week. Don't forget to do your day-to-day battle plan every single day, guys. It's essential. It's essential. Movement is essential. You guys have a beautiful